Hey guys, what's going on? New hero pool, new video, new week. Let's get into it. So we actually pretty much knew already what this was going to be following Jin's predictions, which as always are correct, except for Death Rider. No comment. But anyway, we pretty much knew this pool. Kamikaze, Wrath, Canon S, Crochet, Iron Sentinel, and the Patriot. Now this is a 6-hero pool, just like last week's. But instead of Wrath, it was Tracker. This time it's Wrath and 5 other Season X heroes. So let's get into the heroes. Let's talk about whether or not this pool is worthy and what you should be doing with your tickets. So I'm actually going to work backwards from Patriot to Wrath because it's more exciting. But anyway, Patriot pretty much sucks. I'm sure most of you guys know this already, unless this is your first Season X season. Patriot's really bad. He's one of, if not the worst Season X heroes in the game, and he really just does nothing. Terrible tank, tiny bit of support. He has this weird kind of, a counterattack ability. But overall, I mean, he's pretty bad. Yeah, so he has this counterattack stuff, but it's very weak. He really doesn't have much CC, barely does damage, and he's just not a very good hero. He is okay for tile taking, so that's one thing to consider. Counterattack is good for tile taking. Use Panther, for example. But he just doesn't bring enough to the table in terms of actual combat. He's worse than Season 4 shooters. And probably Season 3. Maybe. I don't know about that one, but he's not very good. So anyway, let's move on. Screw Patriot. Don't go for Patriot ever. Don't invest anything into Patriot. If he's in your pool, that actually means your pool is now worse. So this is a detractor. He's a 1 out of 4. Moving on, we have Iron Sentinel. So I guess moving up, we have Iron Sentinel. Now Iron Sentinel is interesting. He's not great, but he's not as bad as someone like the Patriot. I actually use him out of 5 APCs, so out of 15 heroes. I am actually using Iron Sentinel, and that's just kind of because I like the combo. It's a little bit interesting. It's a little bit different. But yeah, I actually enjoy Iron Sentinel. So he's about a 2. He's kind of just a tanky boy who just sort of sits in the front and gives a bunch of different weird buffs and debuffs. It's kind of like his whole MO is just a bunch of buffs and debuffs. And you don't really notice like his effect too much. It's pretty hard to see in an actual battle what Iron Sentinel is doing. So because he's kind of just buffing and debuffing, and it's not very apparent. It's small percentages or small values to like every single attribute. But he does provide enough to actually be usable. In any case, he's a 2 out of 4, which kind of just means meh. It doesn't make the pool good that he's in it, but it doesn't make it like horrible like Patriot. So again, a 2 out of 4. Let's move onward and upward. Next we have Crochet, or the Crochet, I guess. Crochet is pretty cool. He's a tanky shooter, so similar to Deus Ex, kind of in his role, but he just does more. He does more damage than Deus Ex. He has this kind of tanking thing, this minus damage taken, or I guess damage reduction. And then he has a heal and has this extra basic attack thing, which is really nice for certain combos like Rose or Nomad, for example. Even Ivanov actually, but you rarely ever see Crochet paired up with Ivan. But he's a pretty good tank. You can play him in the front row, you can play him in the middle row, and you can even play him in the back row, which is pretty cool. Because again, he just has some interesting skills and doesn't really need to be very close. This ability only damages one enemy anyway, so it doesn't really matter. And you're gonna kind of want that recovery for Crochet. So Crochet is pretty interesting. I run him with, like I said, you can run something like, Crochet blank Rose, so Anna or Betrayed or Nomad or really anybody, but Crochet and Rose work really good together. Crochet and Nomad work very well together. So Crochet and a Nomad, great combo. You can even do something like Valk, Crochet, Nomad, or Crochet, Valk, Nomad. The order doesn't really matter too much, but these kind of heroes. And I run him Iron Sentinel, Canon S, Crochet. So he's decent. Normally I would say probably like a 2.5 out of 4, but we don't do halvesies. We only do whole numbers. So I'm going to say 2, but a pretty high 2. And him being in here is definitely not a bad thing. Maxing him out, you're probably going to use him. So in any case, let's move on. So next up we have Kamikaze. Now Kamikaze is a great hero. It's a defensive vehicle hero, which means generally he's going to be in the front row. But he also does decent damage, not like a ton of damage, but he heals an absolute poop ton. And he's very adaptable, so he can really be played with anybody. It doesn't really matter who he's paired with, he's going to do very well. So he has a lot of recovery. He has a lot of recovery for both himself and his teammates, which is pretty invaluable. He does decent damage. Again, he has sort of a counterattack. It's actually better than a counterattack because it's just all damage. So counterattacking is actually just worse. Kamikaze just does it better than everybody else. Yeah, and he has this like tanking ability for himself and his team. So overall, he's a really good hero. In my opinion, he's definitely a priority hero. So like I said, since he's very adaptable, you can kind of just plug him into any setup that you're running, and he's going to work really well. One of the best tanks in the game, for sure. One of the best heroes in the game. One of the best vehicle heroes in the game. He is a 4 out of 4. Pretty much without question. Like I said, he's a priority hero. So him being in this pool makes this pool already really good. Let's continue. Canon S. So Canon S and I have had a back and forth, sort of a love-hate relationship. Sometimes I rate her a 2, sometimes I rate her a 3. And I kind of just flip-flop back and forth. So it does also depend on the meta, right? If the meta changes, the hero's value also changes. If you're not familiar with what meta is, it's basically just, kind of the style of how things are being played. You could take an example of the meta could be like healers, right? So you play Canon S, you play Kamikaze, Tech Priestess, so on and so on. That could certainly be a meta, right? As new heroes come out, as heroes get buffed, as items change, technology changes, that meta can shift. So what was once maybe healers now becomes, damage dealers, right? Because a new hero comes out who blocks healing. Something like that. So that's what meta basically generally is. Or if you take, the example of, NBA basketball, right? At one point, the meta was big men down in the post, like just dunking over everybody. And then it shifted towards like pretty much just 3-point shooters spacing the floor. That's what meta is, if you kind of understand what I'm talking about. So, like I said, me and Canon S, back and forth. Right now, I think she's at 3 overall. She's a really good tank. Her heals are like by far the best in the game. She just does absolutely incredible heal numbers. Sometimes a little bit too much though. She can overheal, and there is no overheal in the game, so it's just wasted heals for Canon S. But as you can see, her tanking is really good. Her support is amazing because of that heal. She does have good CC. She has a really good suppress. It's a high percentage chance. And it targets the furthest enemy. So if she's in the front, it's going to target the back. If she's in the middle, et cetera. If you put her in the back, she'll always target the front. If you want to do that, you can. So Canon S is really strong. Also, she basically makes it so on turn 5, let's say you're getting destroyed, you're getting beat really bad. On turn 5, Canon S can literally swing the tides of battle. I've said it before and I'll say it again because it's true. You will see battle reports where your your front row hero is literally about to die, and then they just become immune to everything. Canon S heals them up a shit ton, and then you're good to go. She does really no damage. She does 260 damage with a 70% chance. That's it. So definitely no damage. But she's very, very adaptable. You can pretty much put her anywhere. You can put her with vehicles. So, you can do like Kamikaze, Canon, Death Rider. You can put her with shooters. So, the combo that I'm running running her with Crochet. You can put her with Heaven's Redemption. You can put her with Organic. Honestly, really any combo and anybody. Hummingbird. So really any hero you can put her with. Wrath, TP, Glutton, etc., etc. Scarlet Siren. And she'll do very, very well. TP, Canon, Siren is a great combo. Glut, Canon, Siren, great combo as well. So very, very good. 3 at this moment in time. It might change to 2 later. You never know. And then I'm sure everyone will tell me in the comments that I'm absolutely out of my mind. But anyway, let's move on to the main course of this pool. My guy, Wrath. So Wrath has an interesting chart, I guess. It's probably a little bit outdated, actually. Wrath does more damage than this chart indicates, so that's my fault. I probably should have updated that. But in any case, Wrath is a surefire 4 out of 4. He is ridiculously good right now in this meta. He's very, very good. Wrath has pretty much some of everything. This shield, this reflecting armor shield thing that he basically has is overpowered. It can really, really, really win you the game like alone. If you're about to get Hummingbird blasted and this reflecting armor goes off, not only does it shield it, but it reflects it as the name would indicate. So it's basically double the effectiveness, right? So you're not only immune, like Canon S just makes the front row immune, it's immune, but it also deals the same amount of damage back. So very, very, very good skill. He is just all around a really good hero. And very priority. So as you can see, I need copies of Wrath. I will be going for this pool. I will be uploading that video shortly. But another thing to mention is Wrath is actually kind of one of the heroes I was talking about meta shifting. He does block troop recovery, or at least a little bit. It's not huge, so healers are still definitely meta. If it was bigger, we definitely might see a shift in sort of some of the meta heroes. But he does actually have some really good effect. So you can bust through bases with Wrath fairly easily. I'm not going to say easily, but he's one of the better heroes at breaking bases, because he blocks all that recovery, which generally, if you're going to reinforce a tile, for example, in Doomsday, right? That person who's reinforcing that tile wants to be able to take like 20 hits. So they're going to use a healer so that they can last on that tile longer. Wrath is pretty much like, nah, get out of here. Screw you. And kind of busts them out of that reinforcement. So very, 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 very strong hero. Really, really important to have. One of the best heroes in the game currently. So overall, this pool, 67 out of 100. That's a pretty damn good score. However, 6 heroes makes this pool worse than kind of previous seasons. If this was a 5 hero pool, even if, let's say, we took out Canon S and just had Patriot, it'd probably be the same actually. But if we took out Iron Sentinel, for example, then this pool would be much better. The problem with having 6 heroes is you're more likely to get the bad heroes if you're not going to use a ton of tickets, right? So generally we say 1 hero to max out 250 tickets, right? So 4 heroes, 1,000 tickets, 5, 1,250, 6, 1,500. So 1,500 tickets. If you have 0 copies of Wrath and you're expecting to max Wrath, you'll want at least 1,500. Obviously that's just, probability. You could get Wrath in your first 10. You could get 4 copies of Wrath in your first 10 tickets. I've literally never ever seen that happen in my entire life, but I'm hoping Maybe one day it'll happen to one of you or to me. So in any case, if you're going to go for this pool, you're going to want a lot of tickets. If you only need like one copy of Wrath, for example, or one copy of Kamikaze, then obviously just divide that number by 4, right? So if it's 1,500, expect to use 400 tickets. If you need 2 copies, divide it by 2. So instead of 1,500, let's say 800, 750, et cetera, et cetera. So I need 3 copies of Wrath. I'm sure you guys can do the math. I need about 1,200 tickets. I mean, a little bit less, but I need about 1,200 tickets. So we'll see. Like I said, I will be uploading that video as well. Wish me luck. All right, guys, that's about it. Pretty good pool. If you are going for this pool, you will want a lot of tickets, or you're just going to end up with a lot of single heroes. I know we see this all the time in LSS craft with Huddy. But we see a lot of players with all of the Season X heroes, but like 1 or 2 copies of every single hero. The reason why that is because you're not saving up enough tickets, right? So, oh man, I really want Kamikaze. I have 250 tickets. I really want Kamikaze. No, man, you got to save up. You got to save for next season, maybe even 2 seasons from now. Once you get like 2,000 tickets or, 1,000 tickets or something like that, then you can spend. Then you're actually going to have usable Season X heroes instead of just having everybody at one copy, 1 or 2 copies. They're not usable. It doesn't. So you're kind of just you're just selling yourself short. It's better to have 1 hero maxed than 4 heroes with 1 copy. So that's my take on things. That's my take on this pool. Please let me know if you're on the fence. You can't figure out whether or not you should go for this pool. Let me know your situation on Discord or on the YouTube comments. I have 800 tickets. I need 3 copies of Kamikaze. I have, 2 copies of Canon, 3 of Wrath, blah, blah, blah. Let me know. I'll try to do my best, or the community will also help out when they can. So that's about it, guys. Good luck if you're going for this pool. Let me know what you get. If it's good, screw you. No, I'm just kidding. Good job. If it's bad, better luck next time. All right, guys, as always, stay safe, stay healthy, stay having fun. All right, peace.